Hi students, good morning. I am Professor Trimurthy, PPG College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore. So today topic is dissolution models. So you all know what is dissolution. Actually, the term dissolution is derived from Latin dissio, that means dissolve. So some solid material is dissolved in a solvent. The process is called as dissolution. So here you have done the method how to determine dissolution for the tablets in the early classes. Today we'll see what are all the models, dissolution models explain about dissolution. So here these models I have classified into two areas. First classification is having three models, that is traditional models, which are called as diffusion layer model, Dampert model and interfacial barrier models. So these are the three models which explain how dissolution occurs. So the first model we'll discuss now, that is diffusion layer model. This is nothing but, this is also called as film theory, or this is also called as stagnant layer theory. So what this diffusion layer model explain is, in one word, very simple, the dissolution occurs through diffusion. So where the diffusion occurs? So why it called as diffusion layer model means, just listen, before the process occur, before the dissolution occur, there are two steps involved. The step one is diffusion layer is formed. The step two is, after diffusion layer is formed, the diffusion of solute is occurs through the bulk of the solvent, or diffusion of solute to the solvent. These are the two steps occurs in the diffusion layer theory. So what it explains? See, just imagine this is a solid, this is a tablet, is placed in the dissolution medium, or this is placed in the bulk of liquid. That means the solute is present in the solvent. This is, consider this is a tablet, this is bulk of liquid. So as per this diffusion layer theory, there are two processes. First, once immediately the tablet is placed in the liquid, the solid and liquid interface, that means this is solid and this is liquid, in between these there will be a formation of layer. This layer is called as stagnant layer. That is, a permanent layer is formed. So through this stagnant layer only the diffusion occurs. So this stagnant layer is like a thin film. So this is called as film theory, and this is also called as stagnant layer theory. So once after forming the stagnant layer, so just imagine this is the stagnant layer. Once this stagnant layer is formed, diffusion layer is formed, then the diffusion of solute, that means the solute particle will diffuse through this stagnant layer to the bulk of the liquid. So this is the process is explained by diffusion layer theory. Formation of stagnant layer. After formation of stagnant layer, the solid will diffuse through the stagnant layer to the bulk of the liquid. So this is explained by two equations. See, just imagine the concentration at the film, that means in the stagnant layer. Here, this is the concentration of stagnant layer CS, and the concentration in the liquid after diffusion to the liquid, the concentration is called as concentration Cp at bulk. So there are two equations at bulk. So there are two equations are explained about this diffusion layer theory. That is one by Noyes-Whitney equation. So the first equation is Noyes-Whitney equation. Another one is Nernst and Bernoulli equation. So what this Noyes-Whitney equation explains is dC by dt is equal to K Cs minus Cd. So the dC by dt is nothing but the amount of mass transferred. That means amount of solute transferred to solvent, or the rate of dissolution. So dissolution is nothing but the amount of solute dissolving in the solvent is known as dissolution. So this dC by dt is amount of mass transfer or dissolution rate. So amount of mass transfer can be explained in dC by dt, that means difference in the concentration at the time. So amount of concentration at particular time is called as rate of dissolution. It is equal to K Cs. Cs means concentration at the stagnant layer minus concentration at the bulk. So the K is dissolution rate constant. K is nothing but dissolution rate constant. So this is as per Nash-Whitney equation. So what is the another equation explained about diffusion layer is Nernst and Bernoulli equation. The procedure and equation is same. Here same rate of dissolution is equal to dA by VH is added. dA by VH is added. Remaining K Cs minus Cv is same. That means this is dissolution rate constant. This is concentration of stagnant layer minus concentration at the bulk. So this D is nothing but diffusion coefficient. Here some other parameters are added, that is diffusion coefficient is T. The area A is surface area where the dissolution occurs. For example, if it is crossing the barrier of 1 centimeter area or 2 centimeter area, based on the area the diffusion may change. Next is the volume present. So how much volume the dissolution occurs. So that is also one of the parameter for diffusion layer. Another one is thickness of the stagnant layer. Okay. So the D is diffusion coefficient, A is total area, and V is total volume, and H is thickness of the layer. So this is explained by Nernst and Bernoulli equation. So these are the two equations explained about diffusion layer theory or stagnant layer theory. So here one more small parameter is the in vivo dissolution and in vitro dissolution. So the in vivo dissolution will be always greater because of maintaining the shrink condition. So what is the difference between in vivo and in vitro dissolution is, in vivo there will be a major shrink condition, I mean greater shrink condition is maintained. What is shrink condition means, once the drug is dissolved, after the dissolution immediately the drug is absorbed by huge volume of the network of capillaries which connected to the systemic circulation. So what will happen, once dissolution occurs, immediately the drug is absorbed to the systemic circulation through the capillaries. So always there will be a huge volume of bulk volume of medium is present, so that will keep transporting the drug. So always this bulk volume is huge. This always will be absorbed. So this is always zero. You got it? The concentration is here. So once the concentration of stagnant layer reaches to the bulk, when here the concentration will be as such present as a bulk concentration here. But in the in vivo, the bulk concentration is every time it is taken to the systemic circulation. So this is keep on emptying. So this will be always zero only, though drug will be staying here because of the shrink condition maintained. So if the Cv will become zero, so the Nash-Whitney equation for the shrink condition, Nash-Whitney equation in the shrink condition will become dC by dt is equal to dissolution rate constant, because Cs minus Cb is 0. So dC by dt is equal to K is the Nash-Whitney equation during the shrink condition. So this is what explained in the diffusion layer theory or diffusion layer model or film theory or stagnant layer theory. The second is Danquart model. This Danquart model. This Danquart model is also called as surface renewal theory or penetration theory. So the Danquart model or surface renewal theory or penetration renewal theory explained in little different from the diffusion layer. This is not consisting any layer of the present in the surface of solid and liquid. Here there is no layer formed, no diffusion is mentioned in this model. Instead, what it means, see, there is a solid. For example, you are taking tablet in a beaker containing solvent. You are agitating the beaker solvent. So what will happen? Due to the agitation, the eddies or turbulent flow is formed, or eddies flow is formed. So when the macroscopic eddies are formed, you can see when the eddies are formed or the turbulent is formed, that will make small packets. So based on this theory, so the each packet, for example, due to eddies, see there is a empty packet is formed due to the agitation. So this empty packet will take the solids or solutes to the packet, and the filled packets, the solute filled packets will be transferred to the bulk. So you can imagine like this. See, these are all empty packet. The solute will be filled. So the filled solute packet will go to the bulk of the liquid. So this packet will transport the solute to the bulk due to the turbulent or eddies flow. So this is what explained in the Dankworth model. This is not considering any stagnant layer. So this model is explained by the Dankworth equation. This is V dC by dt. That means volume of rate of dissolution is equal to A Cs minus Cb square root of eta d. So this is volume of medium. A is surface area. Then difference between the Cs is the concentration of solid. Cs is concentration of solid and Cb is concentration of bulk. Cs minus Cb is equal to, then eta is equal to surface renewal rate, and d is diffusion coefficient. So what is this surface renewal rate and why this is called a surface renewal theory means, see, every time due to agitation, this empty pocket will take the solute and will go to bulk. So after that, these packets are renewed as a empty packets, or the fresh pockets will always approaches the solid to take the solute and it will go to the bulk. So every time the surface is renewed or the empty packets are penetrating the solute to the bulk, so this is called as surface renewal theory. So the rate at which the surface is renewed, that means how fast or how many packets are coming to take the solute, is the parameter added into this equation. So this is also known as, due to that it is called as surface renewal theory and penetration theory. So this is the second model for dissolution model. This is known as Dankworth model. The third model is interfacial barrier model. This interfacial barrier model is also called as double layer theory or limited solvation theory. So double layer barrier theory or limitation solvation theory. So this interfacial barrier theory almost same like a diffusion layer theory, but this will not mention or this will not include anything about diffusion. This theory is not considering diffusion. There is no diffusion is present, but other setup and other arrangements and model explain about diffusion layer theory. So what it means, it explained by two methods. One is initially, once the solid is placed in the solvent, the hydration occurs. The first step is hydration occurs. That means it is resembled to the stagnant layer occurs. Here it says the film is formed or stagnant layer is formed, but this theory says hydration is occurs in the beginning. So once the hydration occurs, the second process is solvation. Solvation means nothing but like a solubility. Here the second step is diffusion. First step is film layer formation. Here first step is hydration and second step is solvation. That means solubility occurs. So this says that this first formation of hydration, here it is a slow process. The concentration will not be drastically reduced. Once the solvation process occurs, the solvation step will have a immediate concentration or immediate mixing. So this is explained here. Just imagine. So this is the solid. So this is the bulk. So in between these two. So this is the process of hydration. So the solid is placed in the bulk. Just imagine this full solvent is present. Solid is placed in the bulk. After placing, immediately the hydration process will occur. So during this hydration process, the decrease or change in the concentration is slow. This will be slow mixing. Once the hydration occurs, next is solvation. From here to here, during solvation, the mixing will be rapid. So this is what explained the interfacial barrier model. So this is again same. The equation is dC by dt. That means rate of dissolution is equal to K Cs minus Ct. So same, dC by dt is rate of dissolution, K is dissolution rate constant, C is concentration at solid, and Ct is concentration after some time, after particular period of time, or concentration after per unit time is measured. So this explains always this concentration from here to here is slow and here to here is rapid. So same like stagnant area. However, these two processes, I mean during the hydration and the formation of these two will determine the rate of the dissolution, or we can consider as the rate controlling factor for dissolution. So now these three different models of dissolution explain different parameters. So this is based on formation of stagnant layer. This is based on the packets formed due to eddies, and this is based on solubility instead of diffusion. So these are the three old methods of models which explain about dissolution. I told I have divided these dissolution models in two classification. These are the first classification, these three. So we have another classification. In that we will see about zero order model, first order model, Higuchi model, and other models we will see in the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so now we will go to the second type of classification. So in classification 2, I have added some more models. The one is Exon-Crowell's cubic law. Exon-Crowell cubic law, zero order model, first order model, Higuchi model, and Korsmeyer-Pepos model. So these are the models are very important in the dissolution profile. See, for example, I will ask you a task. I will give you a tablet. That tablet may be anything, conventional release or controlled release or sustained release or any modified release dosage forms maybe. So it is given to you. So in the end of this session, you wanted to tell me whether those tablets are following which order, first order or second order or zero order, whatever it is. And second, based on what theory the dissolution occurs. That means it occurs, the dissolution occurs due to diffusion or not. If the dissolution due to diffusion, if the diffusion is based on concentration gradient, that means it is passing from higher or moving from higher concentration to lower concentration or not. So these are all to be checked. First, the dissolution or by diffusion. If it is by diffusion, it is by concentration gradient or not. Secondly, whether this follows zero order, first order, or any other order. Why we wanted to check all those things? See, for example, if you confirm the order of reaction of that particular tablet only, you can able to check the rate constant or T of and other parameters as we performed in the second year class. So if you find, for example, hydrolysis process means it is zero order. Okay, or two reactant are reacted means it will be maybe first order or second order. That means concentration dependent or concentration independent. So based on that, you will adopt in the graph and you will check the slope. By the slope, you will find out the rate constant. By using K value, you can able to find out other parameters like Tf and T90. So now I have given a tablet. I am asking what mechanism the tablet goes for under a dissolution, and what order that follows. So now we'll come to that models. The first one is Exon and Crowell cubic models. So this is nothing but this is based on the change in the surface area. So in the previous classification, the Nash-Whitney equation, that equation is believed that the equation is based on throughout the system of dissolution, the solute is becoming dissolved. During all the process, the surface area is kept as a constant, or the surface area is permanent. But practically that is not possible, because the solid once started dissolving, there will be a change in the surface area. So that parameter is added in the Nash-Whitney equation, that parameter is changed. So this Exon-Crowell cubic law explain about the parameter in the change in the surface area. So based on this equation, the cubic of W0 minus cubic of W is equal to KT. So this is the equation based on this law. So what is W0? It is a initial mass of drug is known as W0, and this is mass of drug released after dissolution at time t. That means you are taking a tablet, so the initial mass of tablet is known as W0, MOD. That means initial. Cubic of that is W0. Then second is after a particular time, after 1 minute or 2 minutes or whatever particular time, there will be a change in the surface area because some amount is dissolved. So that is added into the called as W. So the difference between these two is equal to KT. This is dissolution rate constant, T is time. So this is the first model under classification 2. The second model is, it is simple. The second model is, it is simple. Already you all studied zero order and first order. So based on zero order, W0 minus Wt is equal to KT. That is nothing but the initial concentration is W0 minus concentration after particular time t is Wt is equal to KT. That means K is rate constant, T is time. So what it means, the same like zero order, the first order, the rate of dissolution dC by dt is equal to KCS minus C. CS is solubility in the equilibrium. That means concentration and solubility in equilibrium. The C is solute concentration in time t. Okay, this is solute concentration in time t. This is concentration of solubility in the equilibrium. This explains in the first order. So however, to check whether the tablet given is following first order or zero order, the experiment is performed and interpreted with the graphical method. So when the graph is plotted between percentage cumulative release in the dissolution parameter, the dissolution is done. After dissolution is done for various time interval, based on the data, the percentage cumulative release versus time, the graph is plotted. If this graph is linear, then that means it follows zero order reaction, and this follows this equation. It's very clear. The dissolution is done for the given tablet. You have taken the parameters, all the values are tabulated. In the table, the percentage cumulative release versus time is plotted. If you get a linear in this graph, it means that it is a zero order. Instead of that, if the graph is plotted between log percentage cumulative release versus time, if you get a linearity curve for this graph, then this follows first order reaction. When the graph is plotted log percentage cumulative release versus time, if the curve is linear, I mean the graph is linear, then this follows first order reaction. So based on this, you can find out whether the given tablet is zero order, first order. See, the conventional tablet are concentration dependent, so that will be following different order. The modified release dosage forms are concentration independent, that mostly follows zero order reaction. So based on that, you can calculate other parameters. Zero order rate constant and first order rate constant can be checked. Okay. Now the next model is Iguchi's model. See, the Iguchi's model is one of the important model and widely used model. So what is the speciality of this Iguchi model means? This Iguchi model mostly used for matrix embedded dosage forms. That means the drug is embedded into the matrix polymers for the purpose of controlled release or sustained release or any modified release. So those release are very well studied by using Iguchi's model. So based on the Iguchi's model, the Iguchi's model Q, that means mass transfer, is equal to A square root of D 2 C0 minus Cs into Cst. Okay, the Q is amount of mass transfer, then D is diffusion coefficient, C0 is initial concentration, and Cs is solubility concentration and the solubility. Okay, so this is the equation of Iguchi. So why it is important, what this will reveal, what interpretation it will give means, usually the graph is plotted between percentage cumulative release, same like here, percentage cumulative release versus square root of time. See, in zero order, percentage cumulative release versus time is plotted. In Iguchi's model, percentage cumulative release versus square root of time is plotted. If the parameters values between this graph is plotted between CR and square root of time gives linearity, means this linearity confirm that model the prime mechanism is diffusion. See, listen, the graph is between percentage cumulative release and square root of time gives linear graph. That means that the particular dosage form given to you, the prime mechanism of dissolution is by diffusion. So this is what the specialty in the Iguchi's model. So based on Iguchi's model, we can able to find out whether the mechanism, prime mechanism is diffusion or no. If this is not linear, then that means that is not following the diffusion. That mechanism of dissolution is not by diffusion. Okay. So this is about Iguchi's. So if linear means this will obey this equation. So the last model is followed on the Iguchi's model. So Iguchi's model, it is confirmed that is prime mechanism is diffusion. You get linearity in this particular dosage form. So you got the linear graph in the Iguchi's model. So once this is confirmed, once the mechanism is diffusion is confirmed, we are going for Kurzmeier-Pepper's model. What is the Kurzmeier-Pepper's model means? This is following the Iguchi's model. So it is very simple, whether the diffusion is based on Fickian or non-Fickian or zero order. You got it? Whether diffusion is confirmed, that diffusion is following Fickian model. That means Fickian model means that's which are following Fick's law. Okay. So the Fick's law is nothing but the Fick's law derived that the mass transfer is based on the concentration gradient from molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So if diffusion is confirmed, whether that diffusion follows concentration gradient movement, diffusion from higher concentration to lower concentration, or this is non-Fickian or zero order. So I will explain. The equation here is mt by m infinity is equal to ktn. So what this equation explained, that mt is the amount of drug released in time, amount of mass transferred or amount of drug released in particular time, and m infinity is amount of drug released after infinity time. Particular known time amount of drug release is measured, and amount of time released in infinity time is measured. The ratio between these two is equal to ktn. So k is the Gauss-Meier-Pepper's constant. K is Gauss-Meier-Pepper's constant. T is time, and n is diffusion exponent or release exponent. Diffusion exponent or release exponent. So we can rewrite this equation by mt by m infinity divided by kt is equal to n. So by rewriting this equation, by using all the values adapting into this equation, we can able to find out the differential exponent or release exponent. So now we know the value of n. If your value of n is between 0.5 or less than 0.5 means that follows Fickian model. Fickian model means that follows Fick's law. If the n value is between 0.49 to 0.89 means it is non-Fickian model. That means it will not follow the Fick's law. That means this movement of diffusion is not based on concentration gradient. If following Fickian means following concentration, the diffusion due to based on concentration gradient. Non-Fickian means it is independent of the concentration gradient. If it is more than more than 0.89 means that follows zero order. So once the n is found out, that means release exponent or different diffusion exponent is found, we can able to conclude the given tablet is following concentration gradient or no, or it following zero order. So by using these models, we can able to conclude whether it follows diffusion or non-diffusion. The mechanism we can find out following Fickian or non-Fickian, whether it coming under zero order or first order. So these are all the second classifications of models are useful to find out the dissolution and mechanism of dissolution. So based on the dissolution, what are the other parameters can be found by using the respective equations. So that's all about today's class. So if you have any doubt, you can directly mail me, or you can give me your doubts. I can clarify afterwards. Thank you today. Thank you very much.